Good afternoon. I call to order the GCC board meeting. Today is the 24th. And before we begin, I will do roll call. Board members, Mr. Block.
Here.
Mr. Turner.
Present.
Mr. Mandrick.
Here.
Billy Campbell present. One board member absent today. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to our regular board meeting. We're glad to see our principals and our director here and our cabinet. So thank you for being here, all of you. So we will get started right away. Any public comment? No public comment. And with that, we're very glad to have our superintendent here, as usual. And we will go with our superintendent's update.
So excited to be here and do want to, as board president Campbell did, recognize Principal Campbell, Principal Madden, and Director of Vocational Academies, Mr. Elliott.
Yes.
And appreciate your relationship with the board to him. And I want to share with the board that feels like forever since we were last together. There was a quick meeting a week ago. I was not here for that with you in 17 years. I think I've missed 2 meetings.
We missed you. We did miss you.
But I know that you and Aaron did a great job of proving the unaudited actuals in my absence. It was not me avoiding my fiscal responsibility. I knew that Aaron had to cover for that item.
And you did a fine job.
Yes, that's always.
You'll be done.
So since we've been officially together the time before that, when I was with you, we have had a central administrative office retreat where we came together to do good work of forming teamwork and learning about important concepts and launching our book study. And it is now finally the last of the retreat seasons. So you're right in the middle of the year, that's right. By the time we get through the various retreats, we're ready to be done with retreat season. Although they are all very meaningful, they take quite a bit of work. So, but we were excited to do that work together. We were once again at the Aerospace Museum in the same space we used for the administrators in their retreat, and very much had good feedback that people appreciated that time to set apart and to get to know one another and to get more focused why we do what we do, because we have quite a bit of new faces in the central office, particularly with our special educations and education department. So a lot of good stuff going on. We are also deeply into the coherence work that we are doing with Innovate Ed and also coordinating that with Dr. Lau Kervin. So those meetings have been going on, really good work happening. Some schools, because they're doing both CSI work and the coherence work they've done in the past, are feeling a bit of the double dutyness of deep looking into this work, that we know that the outcomes will be worth it. So we want to confirm them for that work. We started our second cohort of teacher leaders, which is a group from across the GCC leaders that principals lead that work with Dr. Kurtman and I on growing leadership from the middle. So we're excited to be doing that work for the second time. We also had a CKH visit from our friend Jeff Ford and the subtraction path work going on, and I'm very excited to have Jeff continuing to help us in our excellence of our country discards work. You may have, if you're on social media, seen Mr. Thorpe signing a huge social contract outside at COA Elementary School. It's quite impressive. It's a very big book with their social contract on it. In fact, Flippin actually forwarded that tweet as well to the world at large.
It wasn't on Facebook, it was on
Twitter.
Twitter.
Might be on Facebook too, I don't know. Flippin said something like the biggest ever social contract or something. So yeah, some amazing things. It was nice to be famous for a moment, right? So We are also filling two very instrumental positions in the central office. I think we have made you aware that our Director of Business Services, Ms. Boreas, has given her notice and is moving to a new position. And Mr. Forsberg has been interviewing a couple of really good candidates, and we're hoping that he'll have a decision for us in the near future. We're looking forward to him going back to having a full team. I want to make sure that we're aware that the amount of work in the Business Services Department is extensive and growing in its complexity. And we will probably be bringing to the board another position that he needs to be able to have a life and be able to manage the amount of work that's on his plate. We've been talking about it for some time. It's just that he needs to get to a place of knowing what the right position is. Which skills would provide the most relief to the amount of detail work that he's had to be sucked into. But I definitely want to try that affirm. Aaron, he has always been a whatever it takes person and does an amazing job, but he needs a bit more staff to do that and still balance and survive. So we'll be bringing you probably a coordinator level position in the near future as well as this new grant. We are excited to be continuing our program development downtown with Wendy and our CIA program, Community Impact Academy. And Maury and Jason and I have met a couple times to be talking about how we're moving that into excellence. We're really excited about Maury's work to be kind of bringing that focus into pathway type language along with his other pathways, and expect to bring more to you about that in the future. Recruitment is continuing to work with Cabinet and work on their personal excellence plans, and they're coming to excellence as a cabinet, and I know that they are growing and in leaps and bounds from that investment, and I appreciate his time with us. We have been doing significant, did I use the word significant, ongoing work with the Public Records Act request that our friends in Lodi presented us with pages upon pages and emails upon emails and counting pages, and it's been a full-time job. And when we are now no longer doing that work, which will come out in our study session item. So it has had an end, which Mr. Business and I are quite happy about, because most of those records were from his department. But it has been more than annoying, way beyond annoying. So, along with that, we have been doing some work with Eric Premack, tracking and keeping informed about the bills that are on the table, as well for charter schools, as well as their status, how they were being influenced as they went along. And again, we have a study session item on that tonight, so I won't go into details. Mr. Sample and I attended a full-day workshop from Young, Medium, Poor on the various bills that he will share with you tonight to some degree, and then a number of other ones as well. There's a lot out there, not just for us as charters, but for education in general. There's a lot of change. Yes. So it was a very informative and worthwhile workshop. We have started the 20th cohort of Crucial Conversations. So for the 20th time, I think John Campbell was in the first cohort, and I am now teaching it for the 20th time. So somewhere in here, I'm going to learn it while I'm teaching it. And I'm very excited to be teaching in this year of our 20th, and we will have our 21st cohort in the spring. And really believe that this continues to make a significant impact with individuals, but with our organization around how to give really good feedback when necessary. We have begun the superintendent fall presentations. So far, I have done GIS, COA Middle School, COA Elementary, SAVA, and one half of CCCS. Mm-hmm. And next up, we will be doing Epic Futures HLA and the other elementary portion of CCCS. It becomes a bit more comprehensive each year to get out to everybody, as you know, but equally as important, the hard part is trying to coordinate with people's collaboration time and my schedule. Mm-hmm. So some people's fall presentation is going to be the Christmas holiday presentation, I think. But we'll have to kind of tweak that and see how that goes. Let's see, this morning, was it this morning that we had our Yolo County visit? This morning, Yolo County came out to Epic. They had scheduled it sometime ahead. We had both the new county superintendent, Garth Lewis, a board member who is not overtly charter friendly, but bless her heart, she came out to see the school herself, Miss Carol Cole, and then we also had our CBO present, meaning their CBO present. So we had on our side, Jason was the lead for this, Aaron was there for the financial questions that might arise, and Jerry Koch was leading the site presence. It was a very positive experience. They being the board member, had a few concerns. I think the site and Jason answered them with a great deal of integrity. We think we're prepared to go into our renewal meeting in a very strong position and are looking forward to that. And that meeting with Yolo County to do our renewal will come up in a study session item as well. Today, Tom Campbell, with the support of Jason, also had a contingent of people. If you look behind you, they had a Korean contingent of educators to visit CCCS. I have no idea what that banner says, but it's something important.
John is awesome.
We are so glad to be here.
So it was quite an honor to have this contingent come and look at our school. They're in California looking at various innovative options. They read about CCCS and felt that was an innovative approach. They wanted to come and visit, so it's quite an honor to have hosted them, and I am told that John did a great job of being host for them. And then last but not least, tomorrow, myself and Christine McCormick head out, and a number of women leaders from our SAVA team as well, to the AXA Women in School Leadership Forum.
Where you will be honored.
Where something is gonna
Yes, where
happen.
you will be honored.
Yeah. But we are excited to go, and of course, I'm very honored to be able to be there as well. So, a lot of good stuff happening, always more than we can really tell you about, but we like to keep you in the loop so you know. You know, when I'm gone, sometimes Aaron and Jason and Michael will tell me what they're really doing is sitting with their feet on my desk watching football, but reality
You
is.
believe that?
Highlights.
I
Yeah, there's no football. in Turkey.
Sometimes it's about poker, internet poker, but it's really not happening because we're all way too busy to make any of that
They
happen.
keep the place rolling.
There you go.
That's what they do. Thank you so much for your report. Board members, any comments, any questions, anything at all? I had one, but I forgot it. I think it's aging process. It may come back to me, something you stated in that. But congratulations again on your prestigious award. We are very proud of it. It's known all over the area. Yes, I'll talk a little bit more about it. So with that, we shall go into study sessions.
And Mr. Samples going to update you on legislative.
All right, good afternoon, Board President, Dr. Peterson, members of the board. Here to give you your latest legislative update. As Dr. Peterson shared, we had the opportunity to spend some time with Young Meaning and Core at their legislative with over 200 bills. I promise you tonight I'm not going to cover 200, but I did want to circle back around and give you a couple of updates on some of the key bills. So what you have in front of you is just kind of a list of the bills that directly impact us. But the two that I really want to focus on a little bit is AB 1505, which is the O'Donnell bill that would really change charter school authorization, appeals, renewals. It's also the one that places a 2-year moratorium on non-classroom based charter schools. We've been watching this one closely for a number of reasons. One, obviously for Gateway Academic and Vocational Academy, but also for our ongoing operations. And so 2 weeks ago, this measure actually passed both the Senate and the Assembly, and currently is on the governor's desk, and the governor has until October the 13th to sign the bill into law. Now, what's interesting about 1505 is that if the governor does nothing and doesn't sign it, because it passed both houses with the supermajority, it actually becomes law.
Yes.
And so that's one of the uniqueness of the California legislative system of the supermajority is that the Democratic Party holds the majority power in both houses, and so that would pass. The other one that we've been watching very closely is AB 1505 by Assemblymember Smith. This one would eliminate the ability to be located outside of your authorizing district. Very similar to AB 1505, it also passed both houses with a supermajority and is sitting on the governor's desk to be signed by October the 13th. It is our thought and belief in terms of in the greater charter school world that this was the compromise, as they have called it, and pretty much the teacher side as well as the charter side, no one is really overly happy, but definitely I think this is the biggest change in the charter world for a number of years. The other bill that we kind of watched internally very closely was SB 267, which was the Senator Richard Pan bill around immunizations. And so that bill actually passed both houses and was signed into law by the governor. And we've been watching that, actually working with our principals, even to give them, bless you, the information that they need to proceed. Further questions?
And Cindy, you may have to answer this. Did we have staff that were teaching in like vocational areas that did not have credentials?
No, all of our staff have had credentials, so we are not in that position where we don't have appropriate credentials. Unfortunately, it goes a little bit farther to, are you in the right assignment with that credential? We do have some people not in the right assignment. In other words, they're teaching Spanish, but they don't have a Spanish credential, let's say. But we will be eligible to use the same flexibilities our authorizing districts have to either use emergency credentials or say that we were not able to find an appropriately credentialed person, and that's why we have a misassignment. So we don't see this hitting us incredibly hard because everybody has been required to be credentialed.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions? Thank you.
So if I may, the second study session item is fairly straightforward and quick here, and it's really a matter of Jason and I are leading this item, but just to bring to your attention that we did have a charter petition in front of Lodi, which caused all the pain of the Public Records Act request. When it was denied, we petitioned to San Joaquin County, which was a very pleasant experience, I must say. Very collaborative group of individuals, high integrity. Would love a chance to work with them again. Our public hearing date was last week. Being that this 1505, is it 5 or 7?
1505.
1505, that is the moratorium on non-classroom based. Being that 1505 had achieved its supermajority at that time and was on the governor's desk, there was no purpose in continuing as there would be a 2-year moratorium. So I worked with the county superintendent on how they wanted to handle that. He was, again, amazing. So Jason and Michael Gillespie went and when the item was called, just withdrew our petition. Our friends at Lodi, if I could use that term very loosely, were in the room at the time and were surprised by our action because obviously they had not been following legislation. And the next day they at least had the good-natured choice of dropping their Public Records Act request. So at least we are no longer wasting tons of time and energy on that. So we have let the county superintendent know, first of all, how much we appreciate the integrity with which he was handling this, and that we are hoping to be back in his presence in 2 years with a moratorium.
Any discussions or questions? Any comments? I know it kind of left a little bit of the burden off of your shoulders, for now anyway. So congratulations on making that decision.
We seem to have plenty of work to do.
Yes, I can imagine. We know that you do. So great job. Okay, we're at now 4.3, GCC Charter Petition Renewal Update.
So Mr. Sample
Sample.
will address this, but we thought it was a good time to come back and let you know where we are with our various renewals.
So speaking of plenty of work to do, want to kind of update you on just where we are with each of our charter renewals. All right, so our renewal schedule, and every now and then we like to bring this back to you just so you'll see exactly where we are. We are currently in the process of the Epic renewal. As Dr. Pearson shared, we had our site visit on today, and also we are anticipating and submitting the actual petition document in early October for our public hearing to be October the 23rd. And again, just working through with the county office that process. Simultaneously, we are beginning the writing, development, and political stage for Gateway International, which they go for renewal next fall. We'll be submitting their petition. As I like to call it, and then comes the year of 5, where we have CCCS, COA Futures, HLA, and SAVA TRUSD. And so we will be doing quite a bit of work over the course of the next 2 years to prepare those schools for their next renewal cycle. And then obviously, if you have the year of 5, you then have now the year of 2, which is the 2 SAVAs, one in Elk Grove and one in Sac City Unified. AB 1505 did also talk about some of the changes to charter renewals, and we're tracking that to see how our schools will fit in that in the future. So, for example, Epic will not be impacted by the new rules regarding renewals that will take effect January 1st of next year. And so that will impact, obviously, GIS or other schools, but right now the effects of 1505 will not impact. Any questions about our renewals?
This may be wishful thinking, but doesn't the legislative soon to be enacted legislation allow for longer than 5 years?
Yes. So there is, and I'll use the term they use, they call it the fast track to renewal, which is some schools would be given a 7-year renewal term, others would still receive a 5, and some could even receive a 2-year renewal term. So we definitely are looking at each of our schools through that legislative lens to see where they would fit within that, and how we work with our authorizer to make our.
So there's 3 years, not, and 2 years, not 3 years. I thought so.
And if you, just to remind you, if you know that, just to remind you, the SAVA, SAVA TRUSD, SAVA EGUSD, and SAVA SCUSD, as well as CCCS are DOS schools, which the legislation held true to keep that as a carve-out, and kind of keep that as a safety for those schools not to have to go through this renewal.
Let us know what we can do to help the process.
So just, just to reiterate, what you see up there is what will happen. What will happen after that may no longer follow that exact same pattern based on how strong the academics are, because it was the academic outcomes that will define whether it's 2, 5, or 7. And so we will be updating you as that becomes more clear. We will probably also, at a future board meeting, do an internal audit as if we were all renewing right now under this law, what term would they get, just so we have a sense what that looks like for you. Even though that will be different because they'll look at the CASP scores as the year comes up, but we can at least give you a feel for that.
Any other comments, questions? All right, hearing none, we will move on to the consent agenda items from 6:1 to 6:11. Adoption of minutes of regular board meeting, special board meeting, personnel consent agenda items, purchases over 30,000, Sacramento Regional Transit Bus Program, GCC Health Clerk Salary Revision, no decide on that, overnight field trips, overnight service learning trip, CCCS, overnight field trip, CCCS to Yosemite, Epic revised curriculum, and GCC certificated classified stipends. I will entertain a motion. Second. I would like to have, before we go into approval of 6.5, I would like a little discussion on 6.5, please. As I read it, it stated that students, this program was for PK students in high school. Is there anything on there for parents or anything with the riders? Tell me a little bit more about it.
So the Ride RT bus program was, it's a result of a federal grant that Sacramento Regional Transit received to provide busing just for youth. It is a one-year pilot, and the thought is that if you're giving students access, TK all the way to grades 12, obviously their parents would still have to pay to ride, but their kids would ride for free. It's pretty innovative. There are a number of bus transportation routes that have used this in other systems in other cities, and so Sacramento is bringing this, and we're actually fairly honored to be one of the few charter schools that's a part of this partnership.
So did you have to petition for it, or they came to you, or how did we get here?
So it was a little bit through our community outreach and efforts and just kind of having relationships with people, and they start talking about doing this with school districts. Simultaneously, we did have some of our schools who reached out and they kind of said, well, no. But we were able to talk with them and say, we really are a full system that serves over 5,000 students. You should give us a try. They were very open to it. And actually, we're looking forward this week to receiving our passes to be prepared to go October 1st.
Okay. Any other?
No,
Yes.
So, also Sac State has to deal with them, where they ride free too.
Yeah. I had heard that, yeah, Saxon, the higher education side, it's a little different.
I don't have to get up at 7 o'clock.
Any other comments or in any of the items? Hearing none, all in favor of the consent agenda items, the voting sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. The ayes have it. Thank you for your explanation. I had read about it, and I was a little bit concerned about the TK and if there was something for the parents. So, all right, and now we move on to item 7, business, Sava State refund update.
Well, Mr. Business is gonna update you on this item. It is not an action item, it is just an
Right.
informational item. So Aaron, if you would.
Just wanted to let you know, we received 12 large invoices from CDE, and just not to panic, we were expecting these. So when Sava was, in a way, I don't want to say broken up into 3 charters, not the correct word, but
Divided.
forced to divide into 3 charters because of the Anderson judicial case. What happened was a lot of the students were located, that were going to Sava, were located in the Sac City Unified School District area and Elk Grove District area. So that caused Sava's, the original Sava charter, to decrease quite a bit in enrollment. It's probably around at least 700 students at the time, that dropped to about 40 to 50 students in the 2018-19 year. So the state was still paying us based on a higher full enrollment number for the whole year of 18. 19, or most of the year 18, 19. And so we just basically saved that money in the county treasury. We booked a liability on our financial statements to the state. And so they are billing us for overpayments for the LCFF revenue stream of $3,325,640, and an overpayment of the education protection account funding of $563,827. So those have been invoiced, and we are processing those payments as soon as possible to get that back to them. And we assured CDE that it's no problem. We're expecting this, and the county office as well has been copied on those communications.
Who gets the interest such as it is?
We do, so, free loan from the state.
So one of the reasons that I asked Mr. Business to address this as an item, because obviously it doesn't fall under most normal reasons to be reporting to you, but in this current landscape of concern around charters and, people who may be misrepresenting their ADA and, are people handling these things ethically, et cetera. I didn't want a large payback to CDP to be happening without a clear understanding that it was expected based on the Anderson case and those students moving their charters. So really appreciate Mr. Business taking the time to explain it, because really he said, we don't have to do that. And I said, but it would be good for the board to understand that.
Yeah, to make sure once we see that huge going back in, we will at least know what it's about as we're looking at the actual audits on it. So, any other comments? Hearing none? Okay, and it was not an action item, it's just an information item. All right, so we are moving all the way down to board comments, item 12. Anyone, anything, anyone? What did I do the last time? I went to Futures. I did go to their back to school night, and you were there too, yes. And then we had a chance, and Mr. Michael, we had a chance to watch some of the volleyball, which is the first time I had a chance to really see the students in action. So that was it was great to see that. They didn't win, but they played hard. And it's nice to see that they have the equipment and everything ready to do that. And back to school night was great. It was, as usual, the principal did a wonderful job of explaining the programs and what is expected of students. So it was great. So that was my last one that I did. Okay, the next board meeting.
Next board meeting is scheduled for October the 8th at 4:45.
And is that going to be here, or are we going?
We are tentatively scheduled to be at Saba Elk Grove.
Samba Elk Grove,
I
yeah.
will reach out to staff and make sure that's still okay for them with their schedule and let you know.
Okay, that's fine. Just please make a note of it.
I'll do reminders for you.
Yeah. Okay, and now we are moving into a closed session, existing litigation, government code, Fenn versus Gateway Community Charters. So we will be excused now for closed session.
Superintendent's sorry, right.
We did call in the attorney, so we're gonna go into my conference room. Those of you that come so nice to have, you are more than welcome to wait until after closed session return out or to the
If I were you, I would leave at this time. If I were you.
House here.
Come on here, you gotta go.
Sit up.
Yes, yeah, we had a full-time Title I care. Yeah, that was on the list last week.
No. I just got it back.
What was in the notes? if you think it needs to not be, like, I mean, well,
Well, and it would be SCUSD type.
yes, correct.
Yeah, kind of looking at, I don't
Oh,
think
you
that,
know what, we would,
I don't think that would support,
were we
I don't think
moving,
we need it.
I think one of the ELE specialists might still be miscoded, and I think we're supposed to change that. So let me confirm that tomorrow with you. I'll shoot you an email to say, hey, because I haven't submitted the pack to change the budget code there, so let me confirm the ELE specialist, because those we had to move out of Title I.
Well, there's no ELD specialist in Title I in Sac City, so
Oh,
I
okay.
guess it's a different, like Twin Rivers or something, but
No, it was because everything we added, I thought was Sac City.
I think we're looking okay. We basically added, I think we moved someone probably to full-time, part-time, because it's now
Okay,
here, so
got it.
it's offsetting that. And then we probably have a little bit of part-timers, but Steve and Bill, sure. But I'm not seeing like a huge, I guess what I'm saying is a big chunk of money that we spend really necessarily. I mean, maybe we want to get like some health benefits or got some excess dollars there, but it's not enough for
Okay.
full-time.
I mean, give me till tomorrow and look through my notes, see if I still anything
Sure.
down on why. I don't remember why. I just know we wrote it down. So
Okay.
there's nothing in the world.
Yeah,
If it needs to get fine now, that's fine. But let me get back to you tomorrow.
I'll hold on to it.
Okay. And I'll let you know if I find any notes on it.
Okay, thanks.
You bet.
Yeah, you'll be halfway out the door. That's right.
Sweetheart, you didn't need to stay.
No one is here but us. We are still on. We're still recording.
So I thought we were waiving those, but
Well, law says we can't. So let me,
Come on, guys, so we can finish up this.
I can't believe it, our audience left.
I'm still recording.
Oh,
Yeah, we're still recording. Closed session, we do have a report out. The board took action by a vote of 4-0 to approve the general release of all claims and settlement agreement with Clara Sisson. So, and the other item was for information only. So that is what happened in closed session. And now, with that, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
I move we adjourn.
so
All right, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
We are now adjourned. Thank you so much.
All right.
Drive carefully
Thank you.
home. Take care. And we'll see you
Take care.
next one.
y'all said.
October 8th. See you on
October
October 8th.
8th.